Alright guys, such comic again. I hope you're doing good and enjoying all day so far. Shotzzy and Mercules back at it again, completing the three-peat on Black Ops 6. They won the World Championship back in June, they won the World Cup in July, and now they've won the 2v2 Kaysan Showdown last night. But nonetheless, the last times these have been run, it's been Scrap and HyDra dominating these type of tournaments. This time the OpTic boys coming out on top, and some big other drama elsewhere, especially going into the upcoming year. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new as always. Plenty to get into today. Just wanted to start here. Scump was talking a bit about BO7, and he's like, look, they're not paying me. We know that he was invited to COD which was a little bit of a surprise given, well, maybe not surprising, he's Scump, right? Like, he's the king. But the lawsuits, right? Like, we know there was a lot of drama there. Scum and Hex against the League, against Activision, basically. We think that suit was probably settled in arbitration by now. I don't know if there's been any real official updates on it, but likely while that was ongoing, there were issues with that relationship. Now it seems like it's in a better spot, but it's not like they're going to come out and pay Scump a load of money to say great things about the game. But let's talk about this tournament, because the guys are out there for TwitchCon, and there were 4 duos in this tournament. It was Scrap HyDra. They've effectively been the champions of this before. In this format, in this 2v2 format, Scrap and HyDra have pretty much been undefeated, and it shouldn't come as too much of a surprise given that, you know, if you had to pick the best duo in the game, you're probably expecting it to be these guys, although maybe not based on the evidence as of last night, which is very interesting, I would say, especially going into the upcoming season in BO7. Getting pretty hungry looking at this, so let's move on. As Simp says, my last BO6 experience, definitely an up and down year for Simp, right? Because they started the year FaZe so well. They won Major 1, Game 7, Round 11. They won Major 2. Then it all started to fall apart, and at the end of the season they were nowhere, got knocked out of the World Cup by an amateur team, and that was going to be GG's for them. So Dashy was of course watching all this unfold as well. There were some questions as to whether in future the 4th team could be a more competitive team, right? Because all the talk about the 4th roster was Shifty and Hisoka. So it was effectively the Falcons Warzone guys that have done very well in Warzone, obviously. Biffle, though, has called it a day. He's now decided to retire, and as a result, it's effectively left those 2 guys. They did play. It didn't especially, you know, they did okay. I guess it wasn't totally embarrassing. But there was this play that was turning a few heads. Shifty plants the bomb. Drazah's like, you know, I'm just going to hop it here on Hacienda. He just hops it. And, okay, sometimes this happens, but the thing is, Shifty, you can see on his arrow on the mini-map here, Shifty goes, I mean, you can see it kind of a little bit anyway. He goes to chow, like he looks at the bomb, but he doesn't actually fully check it. And then Drazah gets the ninja, and he even does it again and still doesn't fully check the defuse. And by the time he thinks about it, it's all over. So, you know, not the best play I've ever seen. We think that Shifty's coming in, right, to the challenges next year. They eventually played HyDra and Scrap. They got 3-0'd by them. Again, it wasn't completely ones. It's not like they couldn't win a round, right? But they're solids. But they turn up to these showdowns and they do tend to get waxed relatively frequently. But then again, they are, I mean, they're playing Simp and Drazah, they're playing HyDra and Scrap, right? So they're playing absolute top tier players. So Hisoka and Shifty go down. Whether Shifty can actually make a run next year, we think that he's potentially going to come to challenges with Blastful. That was the recent talk, so we'll see how that gets on. But HyDra and Scrap, they get the job done. They advance in the tournament, and, well, as Shifty says, super bad at 2020 to 2025, fly high. So, yeah, looks like this duo's coming to an end. Makes sense, right? Obviously, the Warzone team with Biffle retiring is out of the window. Shifty looking to come to Call of Duty competitive in multiplayer. We'll see how that works out, of course, in challenges. But let's talk about this OpTic duo, right? Because Shotzzy and Mercules, they were the selected duo from the OpTic side. Of course, we'd not seen Shotzzy and Mercules play in this before, because Merc wasn't on OpTic last time Kaysan was running these type of 2v2 showdowns. We know that Mercules, you remember OpTic Week earlier this year, when Merc was just playing every game and just cooking everyone, basically? It maybe shouldn't come as too much of a surprise that Mercules has returned to BO6. And of course, look, BO6 was the game where Shotzzy and Merc, with Dashy and Huke, of course, let's not forget them as well, won the World Championship and the World Cup back-to-back. So, of course, this is kind of their game on some level, so you would expect Shotzzy and Mercules to turn up and be very competitive in this type of tournament. At the end of the day, it's a 2v2 tournament, right? It's not that serious. There is some money on the line. But it is relevant because when Scrap and HyDra were kind of first becoming a duo last off-season, Kaysan ran this tournament and they won it pretty emphatically. That was definitely a sign of things to come, right? So, you know, there is a level of competitiveness in these tournaments, regardless of whether they really matter that much or not. But Mercules is always going to be good at stuff like this. And, well, this was one such example. They played Simp and Drazah in a 2v2, obviously, because all of them are. And Mercules, well, Drazah just got kind of ripped off this heady right here. Okay, there were some other moments that were kind of more disgusting. But Shotzzy and Mercules at this point already up 3-0 in the map, and then he wins that gunfight. Yeah, at that point it's over. Simp and Drazah didn't even have a kill at this point. This is firing range, by the way. What a legendary map all the way back from Black Ops 1. And again, it's in the game. I mean, they remastered Fringe as well. They brought that back in BO6, which I think was such a mistake, because if they brought it back in BO7, Fringe would probably be playable, because Grandma's house in BO6 is cooked because you can't use any movement to get up into the top house, but in BO7 you can. So I think that was maybe a mistake. Again, one of the other mistakes in my opinion is not remastering something like a Frequency, something like an Arsenal. Maybe that will happen in due course, but this game eventually was a 6-0 to OpTic on the decider, so they put Simp with the Octane Donuts. Unfortunate for him. He goes down, they advance, and as Simp says, lost the tourney. Give a shout out to Kaysan for running this one. But they then went on to play HyDra and Scrap, right, to decide who was going to advance to play Shotzzy and Mercules. And, well, this was definitely one of the moments of the tournament, was after Scrap and HyDra got the win, we did get some fist bumps flying through. Now, we've seen, as I say, a couple of these Kaysan tournaments before, and I think on both occasions, certainly one occasion I remember pretty vividly, Scrap and HyDra were not going to do a fist bump, right? They weren't doing fist bumps on main stage last year. You remember when Drazah was asked about it, and he was like, I'm not fist bumping that guy. We know there's personal beef here. The personal beef isn't going to go away. You know, you can see, I mean, look at Drazah's face, right? Like, you can see by his face, it's not an even Scrap's face. It's not an especially friendly interaction, but it is an interaction, right? Like, they have at least fist bump one another. There's a level of sportsmanship there. There's a level of respect shown there between the pair of them. The beef isn't going to go away. But it is interesting timing this, because Drazah, as far as we understand, turns down the offer to go and play with Scrap and HyDra this year on Thieves. Fundamentally, they wanted Cellium. That was their first man of call instead of Ghosty. They couldn't get Cell. He took the Falcons bag. Then we believe they asked Drazah, this may not be true, but I'm pretty sure they did. Then they went and asked Drazah. He was like, I'm not playing with Scrap in a million years, good luck with that. And so that never happened, right? So it's just interesting timing, because Drazah could have probably been on Thieves if he wanted to. To my understanding, Scrap is willing to end the beef, kind of. Look, the beef's always going to be there to a certain extent, but this feels like, I don't know, like a key moment or a watershed moment or something, but it feels like a moment where, at least maybe in the server, there can be a level of sportsmanship shown between the pair of them. Of course, there's still going to be a rivalry there. I don't think that Drazah's opinion on not playing with Scrap after everything that was said over the last couple of years has changed. And frankly, I don't want it to change. It's a great rivalry for the scene. I think we need it, kind of. So, you know, I don't mind seeing this, but also, you know, I don't mind the beef staying around either, right? So tweet your thoughts on that in the comment section below. But I wanted to share a couple of clips here as the tournament concludes. So Scrap and HyDra, they played Shotzzy and Mercules in the finals. And Scrap and HyDra went up 2-0, couple of occasions. And then Shotzzy and Merc just dug in deep and they brought it all the way back. LA Thieves did this tweet, 2-0 up. They won this game on the firing range. They won it 6-5. They took the 2-0 advance in the series. But then things started to turn around.
Tom, y'all might need to bring back roster mania, Tom, not gonna lie.
He's checking his mentions again!
He doesn't even care that he's
He's so tough! How is he this tough?
Oh, he's texting his gifters. He keeps them close.
Bro, how does he do this?
Was he that good?
Yeah, he's so...
R10 gets it in good hands.
Nah, this guy's different. Nah, he's different, Chad.
Merg actually is, he's so different.
I'll tell you what he is.
He's not even...
Let me know when he sees you, Chris. He's coming. Oh, he's coming. He's still there.
Wow, Drazah, good read there.
Oh, he chopped down.
Wow, that's a good play from Drazah. Oh my God. Oh!
He's lagging, I think.
I'm looking at my punch only. I only have my punch.
Oh, shit!
Snake him trailer.
He's trailer?
I said, can he come?
He's talk the talk. He's got the corner.
It's not over yet.
Drazah, will you read that?
It's not over because Drazah's there, the Alaskan assassin.
I don't think
Wow,
so.
Mason spots him.
Moving forward, he's up
Mason's
there.
in such a good spot.
Jump, if it's even needed.
Wow, he has bombed down. He's just holding.
Drazah's dead to
Some
rights
say
here.
that I dropped this guy,
is
but I did
serious.
not. It's a narrative. Trying to push
It's
it.
just a patience battle right now.
Merc's thinking, how do I
Oh,
pull back and let him
Mercules,
know I
oh,
have him
no.
completely
No, he's
out?
got a sub, though.
The jackal
He
of
knows.
Drazah at this late
He
hour.
knows. He knows.
Wow!
He knows, Tony.
GG. Tom, it was a fantastic series.
Walks FaZe
Unfortunately for you, it's the
still on
back to
firing range.
back!
What is he doing? Challengers.
Trying to get right back into that gun
These
back.
timings are
Now.
insane. Look at HyDra pinching, bro.
Damage on Scrappy. And that's that first
Yeah,
one.
but HyDra's on a beautiful repitch.
Gets caught. HyDra has to clutch again.
He's got to make something happen. 1v1. Oh, and over the top. He's not going to have nothing there, but boy, you can
Good
see
play.
him. But that is
Nice!
baby.
Oh, beautiful.
Mercules
He literally
just
climbed the
too
ladder.
Fucking beautiful.
to handle. Where did I go with that?
Beautiful.
What a reverse
Nah,
sweep.
climbing
Wow.
the ladder was a good-ass play.
Reverse sweep from the boys. Grand finals bound. Now we get OpTic, or sorry, Thieves versus FaZe.
GG's.
Scrap. We got Scrap versus Drazah now. Scrap versus Drazah.
There we go.
Right there. That is
Still.
your pick.
Strong front
Hey, we
running.
couldn't have-
2, and that is that. This is GG's in the chat, and it is a goodbye to FaZe here at Kaysan Showdown 7. They are down and out.
Oh my god.
God.
Oh my fucking snapped on.
Brother, what the fuck? Bro,
Oh
he's
my
actually so
God.
turned right now. He's actually so turned right now.
Oh, that was dirty. Come on, check out her, Ant. Check out her.
Oh, yeah, this actually might be a good play.
I think HyDra checks this. No, he had it.
He had it. Wow.
Oh my god.
Mercules, the Phenom, and now the pair of them will go toe-to-toe with HyDra, who still has that bomb. There is an excitement, a fleet-footedness about Shotzzy and Mercules' play right now. And that is why the Kaysan Showdown 7 champions.
GG's.
The $25,000 TwitchCon 2v2 champions go to Shotzzy and Mercules. And again, Mercules, this kid just doesn't lose. Like, does he lose anything? Like, he turned up, what did he play? He played that tournament with Toronto. Okay, they didn't win that. Then he played one tournament with OpTic, and they didn't win that Major 4. Then since he's joined OpTic, he's lost what? Major 4? He's won champs, he's won the World Cup, he won it's not really serious, but he won everything he played in the OpTic Legacy Week, pretty sure. No, I'm pretty sure he won like every series. Maybe he didn't win one, I don't know. And then he's turned up to this tournament and he's won it as well. So, and not all of that stuff's on BO6, right? So, yeah, pretty impressive. Shotzzy and Merc, shouldn't be a surprise that they're very competitive on a BO6 2v2 tournament, of course. But Scrap and HyDra now not only are phenomenal players, but also they've got a whole year of chemistry under their belt. And, they had a very close series here with Shotzzy and Merc, but the OpTic Duo, they get the job done. So could that be a bit of a sign of things to come in the upcoming season, right? Shotzzy and Merc as a duo, who's going to be the best duo? HyDra and Scrap should, in theory, take the cake, I would say. Certainly going into last year, I expected HyDra and Scrap to be the best duo, which they hands down were. They'll be in the conversation this year again, of course, but maybe Shotzzy and Merc. We kind of talked about Shotzzy and Dashy, right? But in terms of playstyles and stuff, Shotzzy and Merc might make a fair bit of sense. They're certainly going to be a force to be reckoned with this upcoming season. And as Hitch says, I thought it was pretty funny, 2 more editing weeks added to the process, right? So, this is the Roger master plan. Wait for Mercules to win the big Kaysan Showdown at TwitchCon, and then we can throw that into the process as well. So we'll see, of course, when the process arrives, it will turn up eventually. As Shotzzy says, 25k TwitchCon 2v2 champ. Shout out Kaysan for the tournament. So, yeah, great events. well done everyone who played and who, of course, ended up winning it as well. And for Kaysan for putting this on. It was a great moment for the community last night, given that everyone is really craving at least some sort of competitive COD to be played. This was a little fix of that. And, okay, BO6 is now fully done. And then it's BO7 in a few weeks' time. There was another rumour floating around yesterday that BO7 might get released a little bit early. I think it was Reality UK, maybe Ghosts of Hope were discussing it a little bit. It's only speculation, it's only rumours, but the launch date is the 14th of November. There has been some talk about bringing it back to the 7th. Now, I know that that will frustrate some people because I know some of you guys will have got your paid time off sorted for the 14th of November, right? As that has been the case in the past. So if they did bring it back a week, it would disrupt some people. Would it be for the better generally? You know, I'm down for the game to come out a little bit earlier. Means we get tournaments earlier, we get scrims earlier. The season is presumably going to start early December as usual. So a mid-November launch means that there's not much time to prepare for the season to begin. The games usually will come out 7th to the 10th of November historically, so the 14th would be a little bit later, and with Battlefield 6 making a stand, I can understand why Traixx and Activision might think, alright, could we bring it out a week early? So I think those conversations are ongoing, whether they do it or not. Of course, it would be a pretty big change if they did drop it a week early. There'd be loads of logistical things, I'm sure, to handle there as well. But now that most people just download the game and get it online, might not be too much of a difference. So intrude to your thoughts as always and all this stuff in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.